Hey, welcome to Talkin' Shit. Eddie Ifft here, your host, the most gregarious, talkative person in the whole world. Why do I do a podcast? Because I'm a professional talker, people. That's what I do. I've been talking my whole entire life. It's all I do. I talk. I remember basketball games when I was a kid. My dad would be yelling at me because the game was going on. I'd be like six man sitting on the bench, and I'd be in such a good conversation that the coach would be like, Eddie, you're in. And I'd be like, hold on, I got to finish this story. I gotta, just, can you put someone else in? Because I would rather talk than play in the game. And it wasn't that I didn't love playing basketball, but when I get into story, I hate when somebody interrupts. You know, when somebody just walks into the middle of your story, and then how are you supposed to start it back up again? Is this bothering anyone else like it is me? This is completely irritating me. I find that so irritating. Oh my God, that's so irritating. Anyway, I'm here at the Las Vegas Rio Hotel, working at the Comedy Cellar, Las Vegas. I'm doing shows all week with, it's a really good group this week. Every time I work here, you work with a different group of people. Mark Cohen is the constant. I don't know if you know who Mark Cohen is. Mark Cohen is one of the funniest human beings in the history of comedy. He used to host Make Me Laugh. Do you remember that show 170 years ago? No, it was when I was coming up, like starting comedy, I used to like be obsessed with the show, and Mark was the host. He was incredible. And then I finally got to meet him when we did Tommy Chong's 420 special together, which was a show about weed. And I don't smoke weed really that often. Everyone else on the show did except for me. And my opening joke was, I don't smoke weed. And the producer was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, what? He's like, why would you say that? This whole show is about weed. And I was like, oh, sorry. So they like dubbed in that I go, I smoke weed. But then my joke's about not smoking weed. It's just really awkward. If you've ever seen it, it was on Showtime 420 special with Tommy Chong, one of the nicest human beings in the world, Tommy Chong. Love him. Guy has given me some really good advice in life. I was over at his house one day. I think I was there for the TV. We were doing something. Or maybe I'm friends with his son, Paris Chong, who I haven't seen in a while. Where are you, Paris? But Tommy said to me one day, he goes, he's just looking at me and it gets quiet and awkward. And he goes, hey, how's your weed? And I go, huh? He goes, how's your weed? And I was like, oh, I don't smoke really. I've had some bad experiences. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I get panic attacks. He's like, that's not the weed, that's you. That's you. You gotta work on yourself, man. That's like, he's like, you gotta like read the Bible or listen to the symphony before you smoke then, because you got demons. So apparently I have demons. And that's why I can't smoke marijuana, because the demons come out. But this week at the Comedy Cellar, really good group of people working with. My friend Pete Lee is here. And I'm going to talk about the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival later. Pete apparently has been to Saudi Arabia and done shows for the Crown Prince or whatever, Bin Salah Lama Lama Dama Dama Ding, whatever his name is. The guy that, Khashoggi. I hope that doesn't happen to any comedians. I shouldn't joke about it at all. I'm not even going to joke about it. I was just going to I have this ongoing joke that like, what if they take the comedians and they take them to some warehouse with like bags on their heads, and then they show them a video and they're like, here's you. And it's a compilation video, and they show all the comedians. Here's videos of you making fun of us. And then Trump sends the Navy SEALs over to save them all, but the Navy SEALs get there and they don't have to rescue them because the terrorists are giving the comedians away because the comedians have annoyed them so badly. And so then the Navy SEALs start flying them back to America. Halfway over, the SEALs are so annoyed by the comedians, they decide to fly them back and give them to the terrorists. Nobody wants them. That's kind of the life of a comedian. You go up, you perform on stage to get all this love and the accolades of the people. And you think, oh, these people are going to love me. But then when they get to know you, they're like, geez, you're just a pain in the ass. I mean, that's my personal thing. Like I said, I talk so much that I talk people away from me. So I figured I'll do it on a podcast. You can press pause, you can stop, you can delete. Numbers are doing better. We double every week. We double. We're doubling. 32 days. Let's get to 1 million. I want to have 1 million listeners. I want to be the fastest growing podcast in America. In America, people. In America. This is the fastest growing podcast in America. Yeah. I was thinking about my talking. There's a thing in surfing. I surf a lot. And I like to surf, people. I'm a surfer. Can't you tell by my flat brim hat? It's actually a ski resort right there. I like to surf. It's a little pastime of mine. I live near the ocean. I do it. There's a funny thing about surfers, and I wrote a sketch about this. When you're surfing with your buddy, with someone you don't know, whoever it is, in the middle of the conversation, if you see a wave, you shut up and you paddle for the wave. You're like, you could be saying, so I just found out that I have whatever it is, you paddle away from them. If they go, dude, I have to tell you this. It's the most important thing I've ever told you in my life. And you see that wave, you leave them, then you come back. What was it? What were you going to tell me? However, when I'm surfing and I'm in the middle of a good story or a conversation and I see a wave coming, I'm like, fuck. Because even though I love waves and I love to surf, I think I like to talk more. And it's a problem because probably people that surf with me are like, he never shuts up. But I like to surf alone because then I have no one to talk to, and then I surf and I don't talk. So it's kind of like my time, my solitude out there in the ocean, just enjoying the atmosphere and the nature's beauty. And then all of a sudden, nature's power. Nature picks me up and slams me onto a coral reef or a sandbar or a rock reef, whichever you choose, whatever's your pleasure. So podcast is now on Spotify. I uploaded one. I've got to do the rest of them. We're on like episode, I think this is through 543 or 544. Not positive. I'll know when I upload it. And I'm doing it all myself. This is all me. I record it, I upload it, I edit it, I title everything, I make the thumbnails. It is all me, people. And I'm going to see how long I can do that. But it's looking like I'm going to start needing an employee. So maybe start with an intern. If you're out there, I need an intern. No more Shane Wows. I need someone who works. Like a Farside. Farside did good work. Shane was a good hang. Who else? Weeble Wobble he fluctuated. Sometimes he'd be good and sometimes he was just out to lunch and just didn't want anything to do and had to deal with his emotions. Who else was it? Ray Roy, great intern. So intern could turn into a job, could be a job depending on your skill set, but hit me up. You know where to reach me, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my email, whatever. And then we could talk, and because I need someone to post, but I found out about some sites where I can just post it once and it posts to all of them for me. That could be the solution. And then if I could do this all by myself, I would love to be like the Eddie Ifft solo. It's called Talking Shit still, but I wanted to call it Ifft only. Like I had a tour called No Ands, Ifts, or Buttholes. And this is Ifft only. Like if only. Ifft only. Get it? Like I said, I'm here in Vegas. Look how beautiful the mountains are here. Oh, that's Red Rocks. I'm gonna go up there probably tomorrow and go for a little hikey poo. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe the next day. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, so that's where the podcast is. It's going to be on Instagram. I'm already going with the network. I told you guys I wanted Patreon. Somebody donated. I forget who it is. They gave $10 out of the blue. Love you. I'll mention you next week. I'll find out who that is. And I haven't. They said what's the same. Yeah, I guess it's the same Patreon. Patreon.com/Eddie Ifft. So let's get that going because there's no ads on this. And I'd love to know how you're listening to it, why you're listening to it, what you do. Because here's my thing. I listen to podcasts for information or entertainment. I'm not giving a lot of information here, and I don't think I'm giving any entertainment. So I want to know, is this like a hang for you? Do you do it while you're driving? Do you feel like you know me and I'm talking to you? And because if I am, send me some feedback, people. I want to hear. I've had some comments in the YouTubes and the Instagrams. I'd love to see some comments like, hey, can you talk about this, or can you tell this story or that story? Because I'd like to hear it. I am full of fucking stories. I have lived a life of stories. Today, nothing exciting happened. Nothing. I went to Whole Foods and got my groceries because I'm on a diet, people. I'm on a diet. Yeah, I was getting fucking fat. I got up to like 185 pounds, which is, for me, is really fat. I graduated college, I was like 155. And then I started lifting weights and getting all swole, if you know what I mean. No, I did put on some muscle. And that's how I got like this. No, I started a podcast. You know, I used to do the Wadcast. And then I said I was going to do Talkin' Fit and Talkin' Shit. This is a little portion of Talkin' Fit, okay? For all of you out there struggling with your weight, I've got the solution right here. ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT as your personal trainer, as I do. I am pretty well versed in exercise science, so I can oversee it because it makes mistakes and stuff, and but it's for me when I'm lazy. I'm just like, hey, plan my week of workouts, and I do this structured workout. Mondays, I do an hour of cardio. Tuesday, I do a full body workout, weights. Wednesday, I do a CrossFit workout, 20-minute CrossFit workout. Thursday, rest day. Friday, VO2 max workout. I do a running workout, about 20 minutes. I'm really pushing to expand my lung capacity and oxygen into how efficiently my body uses oxygen. And then Saturday, I do another full body strength workout. And then Sunday, I rest. But I don't really even rest on Sundays and Sundays and Wednesdays. But I do always get in my 10,000 steps, and just knowing it's like a good number to keep in my head that, like, you know, I look at my phone, I'm like, okay, if I didn't get it, I just walk a little at the end of the night and I try to catch up on it. I'm like, all right, there, got 10,000. But diet-wise, what I've found that's incredible, I talk into ChatGPT and I'll go, hey, these are the foods I like to eat. And I will name a whole bunch of foods. Stuff that's in my cabinet, some that's in my refrigerator, some that I want to eat, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'll say, okay, here's where the hard part is. You have to find out your basal metabolic rate, your RMR, I think they call it. And it's basically how many calories do you burn a day without doing any exercise at all. Once I do that, I know that, and then I know how much I'm going to exercise. So let's say I'm going to burn 1,600 calories with my basal metabolic rate, and then I'm going to exercise 500 calories, right? That's 2,100 calories I can have in a day. So that's 2,100. Okay, so I can eat 2,100 calories to stay at the same level. Well, how do I lose weight? I have to go into caloric deficit. I have to eat less than that, okay? And then there's exercise. Wait, that doesn't make sense at all. I'm an idiot. Oh yeah, that's how much I burn during the day. The 1,500, 1,600, and then the 500. Okay, so we got 2,100. Now, how many calories can I take in? Let's say I take in 2,100. Then I'm at an even. Well, let's say I take in 2,000. Now I'm in caloric deficit. So I always want to eat in a caloric deficit to lose weight. Okay, well, I also want to maintain muscle mass because I'm old and I don't want to get sarcopenia. So I try to maintain muscle mass by eating enough protein and lifting weights. The protein I eat a lot of whey protein. I'll do a lot of shakes. I like these ones, these Orgain ones that have 30 grams of protein, grass-fed whey protein. I do a lot of yogurt, and then I do a lot of meat. I'll do meat, chicken, my chicken, roast beef, whatever, burger, patties, whatever it might be. But I'll tell ChatGPT that, and it will actually give me a diet. It'll give me breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks. And it'll tell me exactly what to eat, how much to eat. Then it gives me my shopping list. So I go to the store and I buy exactly that food. So that's all I have in the house. And then I know every meal what I could eat. And I'll even say to it, hey, I want to cheat. And sometimes I order it. I go, hey, tonight I had 2 beers because I went out. And so it'll go, okay, well, that was 200 calories, so don't have your night snack. And it's just like having, these very, very wealthy people that you see, lose weight because they have a trainer and a nutritionist. Well, now you have one, and they're there to go, don't eat that. Stop it. Don't you eat that. Don't you eat that, fatty. I've programmed ChatGPT to say that to me too. It goes, don't eat that, fatty. You fatty. And so, yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm doing well. Getting shredded, ready for the bodybuilding competition. I cover myself in. Do you ever see those guys when they like cover the tanning shit all over their body? And it's not like tanning. It's like they paint themselves purple practically. They're like so dark that it's almost like wearing blackface all over your body. It's kind of weird. Bodybuilding competitions are up there with pageants, and I'm trying to think of something else. Furry conventions aren't even as weird as a bodybuilding convention. Not even close. I'm going to put bodybuilding weirdest, pageant second weirdest, furry convention third. Trying to think if there's anything else as weird. There definitely are. The My Little Pony conventions, those are a little weird too. But that is the portion of the show where it is Talkin' Fit. I just want to help some people out there. The ChatGPT diet. You put in all the foods you like, tell them the amount of calories. You're going to have to find out on your own what your basal metabolic rate is. The way I did it, I went and got a DEXA scan. I don't think that's the most precise way to do it, but it's pretty good, estimation. So try it out. Try out the ChatGPT diet. And then I'm going to make it a thing. I want people talking about the ChatGPT diet and be like, where'd you hear about it? I heard it on Talkin' Fit, on Talkin' Shit with Eddie Ifft. We were talking fit on Talkin' Shit with Eddie Ifft. And he told us about the ChatGPT diet, how you can lose weight. This is definitely clickbait. People are like, wait, you can lose weight by using ChatGPT? Yeah, fuck yeah. ChatGPT will tell you everything too. It'll be like, should I eat roast beef or turkey? Well, you had this, and you need a little bit of this and vitamin. Because you lack this, you need this. It's great. Robots are taking over the world. So I am working with Pete Lee this week. I am working with a really funny girl, Sydney Washington. She's out of New York City. Funny. She killed me last night. And, Noah Garden-Schwartz is on tonight, who is first time I ever saw him in New York, I was like, this guy's a killer. So funny. And I find that people always want to ask me, that's like one of the questions as a comedian I get asked all the time is, who do you find funny? It's the most common question I think I get asked. Who do I like? Who do I listen to? And when you buy a lot of records or albums or go in your playlist, you have a lot of bands that you listen to. I have a ton of comedians that I love to listen to and I love to hear. And so many that it's hard to choose, but I do have a few. And I'm going to go over them with you and why. I'd feel like my GOAT, my greatest of all time, would have to be Dave Attell. Living or non-living. He's kind of in between the living and non-living. He's a bit zombie-ish. But Dave, not only do I consider him a friend, and he's a great guy, great person, but I do think he's the best. I don't want to say joke writer because he's a great performer too. It's amazing. Like he's just stage present, everything. but his jokes are just so good, and it's so he's the GOAT. And then I hate to do this because he's one of those guys, I don't think he likes accolades, and I don't know why. I mean, I kind of like them. I kind of don't. If someone was talking about me on a podcast right now and analyzing my comedy, I would shut it off. I wouldn't be able to listen. But Doug Stanhope, I really like because I find him so insightful. He has a way of looking at things that, no one else looks at it that way. Everybody will see it this way or that way. He has a whole new way. Like if there's this and there's this, Doug does this and looks at it that way. And so his perspective is always different and it's always insightful. And I'm surprised. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that, well, I've probably said it before on the show. He's probably going to be way more appreciated dead than he is alive. And that sucks. That sucks so bad. That's the worst thing. I'd rather be appreciated alive than dead because you're dead. You don't get to go, you're not up at heaven looking down going, look at them all. They all think I'm funny. They're all having so much fun with my material. You're dead. So, rather get it when I'm alive, and get it like the Dane Cook get it, or who else got it good? Shane Gillis is getting it good right now, or Matt Rife, because it all comes down to as much as you want the coolest of the cool and the connoisseurs of comedy to love you. I mean, it's nice to have the ladies. When the ladies like you. I worked with Matt Rife. Girls were throwing their bras on stage to him. No joke. So the kid's got just unbelievable charm and good looks and a really nice guy. I'm not going to put him on my top list, but I mean, I'm just saying, really nice guy. So I'm going to go, Stanhope, insightful. He's insightful like Chris Rock, who's up there. My Mount Rushmore. We're doing my Mount Rushmore right now. Did you ever hear that phrase? Your Mount Rushmore of comedy. So I got a tell up there. And then I got Chris Rock and Stanhope kind of hugging the middle. Although I haven't seen a lot of Chris's new stuff lately. He goes away, comes back. I love the way he does that. And then I don't know if the next one would be Brian Regan. Could be Regan. Regan makes me cry laughing. But there's so many others like Kyle Kinane, a guy I don't even know. I don't know him at all. I've met everybody. Never met Kyle. And it kills me watching him. I think he's so funny. But there are so many others that I love. This crowd work guys overseas. Steve Hughes, an Australian comedian, Steve Hughes, that I love. He's up there with the insightfulness of Stanhope and Chris Rock. If you ever get a chance to see Steve Hughes, there's a great joke called, just look up Steve Hughes Offended. And it's a great bit. But there's so many British comedians that I love, and they're not coming to mind right now. Irish comedians, Tommy Tiernan, they're brilliant ones all over. I probably would like a list of 100. If you said, no, I'd be good with a list of 50. My favorite, Ian Edwards makes me, his jokes are so good. Who else? I'm forgetting so many others. But really, really funny guys. And so go take a look at some of those if you don't know who they are. And there's so many up and coming guys that I see that are good too. I wish I had a master list and I could just go down. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do a whole episode of talking shit where I just go through comedians. And then I shit on ones too. Ones that suck. So no, I don't believe anybody sucks. It's just not my thing. I'm being nice and I'm being there are people that I thought were horrendous. And then I see them in front of the right crowd and I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Oh, Patton Oswalt just did a joke the other day that fucking killed me. God, I wish I was as good as these guys. But I have a show in a little bit, so this show might be cut short. I'm stuck here in this hotel room until they release me. They release me to the crowd here at the Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas. I'm here this week. Earlier this week, I was in Atlanta at the Punchline. I had to perform, and that was crazy because it was the Georgia-Alabama football game weekend, which, football in Georgia, that's like football in Texas. I had to do those shows with that. I love the Punchline. It's such a cool little club. And it's in a diner. It's like next to a diner. There's a room. I don't know what it was, but it's a comedy club now. And it's a fun club. And the crowds are really fun. And then I was in Captain Brian's down at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, where the people are fucking old. Old as shit. And I knew it was going to happen. I got in every once in a couple little, I wouldn't call them tussles. I wouldn't call them arguments. I wouldn't call them hecklers. Just people comment, and this is my theory. When I make fun of liberals, I could get up there and shit on Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. I can make fun of all of them. No one is ever going to go, hey, shut your mouth, or yeah, that's because, but I don't know if Republicans have been like beaten up so badly with the Trump shit that they just react. But I got to be honest. We know that there are liberal snowflakes, that there are words that trigger them. Many. The definition of the word came from like liberals, and they called them snowflakes. But I got to be honest, you right-wingers out there, lately you are the snowflakes. You are the ones. One joke about Donald Trump. I could do 50 Biden jokes, and then I do one Trump joke, and they're like, like they have to come running to his defense. The guy is such a martyr. It's unbelievable that everybody defends him. So I had a couple people get upset and, say shit to me about it. And I'm like, they don't even get that it's a joke. I'm like, this was a joke. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why you all feel like you need to defend the guy, but just stop. He can take care of it himself. He knew what he was getting himself into. He doesn't need you as his bodyguard. And let the crowd just enjoy the jokes, okay? But they'll be like, you made, never mind. They say that Jimmy Kimmel made like 90% jokes that were focused on the right and only 10%, something like that. That was like the stat. I try to be 50-50 down the middle, people, because I'm not red. I'm not blue. I am red, purple, and blue. I am the Nicaraguan flag. No, that's not red. I think they're red, yellow. I don't know. I'm red, white, and green. I'm Italian. I'm the Italian. I don't know. It's a joke I got to work on. Anyway, see when I just go into that? I go into like an ADD, like, it's like a Mitch McConnell. Remember when Mitch was like, I get those. It's not a stroke. I'm not having a stroke. I just can't think. But it's good for edits because I put this thing into a software and it makes the edits for me. So it sees like, hey, this is the beginning and this is the end. He had something so profound to say. But that's really good. I watched my Steelers win this week. Go Steelers. And they were in Ireland, and their like fifth string quarterback, who was on injured reserve anyway, who was there to party, got mugged at 3 a.m. And as my mother Audrey always told me, nothing good happens after 2 a.m. What were you doing out at 3 a.m. in Dublin? Shouldn't have been out. And I don't think it was Minnesota fans who did it. Now the right-wing MAGA people are doing everything they can to distance themselves from it. Cancel me! Cancel me! That's what Kimmel said. Yeah, I don't know who it was, but 3 a.m, kind of asking for it. Sounds like you were partying. What'd you do? What'd you do? Shouldn't have been out. Shouldn't have been out. It's not right that it happened, but you shouldn't have been out. Everybody has the freedom to walk around. Yeah, but you also taking a chance. I don't remember Ireland being that dangerous, except for when I was in Belfast. I was just telling my dad this story. I did a show in Belfast at the Empire. Great comedy venue. Great, awesome comedy venue. I get there. I don't know what year this was. This could have been like 2005, 2004, 2003. The guy said to me, Eddie, when the guy picked me up at the airport, he goes, hey, you have quite a reputation. You're not going to like Ireland. I was like, why is that? He's like, not a lot of pretty girls here. That might have been Galway where the guy said that. He's like, not a lot of pretty girls here. He's like, and it's like 5 guys to every girl. And it seemed that way. I noticed that. And that's the guy who took me out, and he ordered for dinner. He had on his plate mashed potatoes, a baked potato, boiled potatoes, and French fries. And then like some slab of meat. It's pretty good. Meat, potatoes, every kind of potato. He had them all. I don't think there are any. I scallop potatoes, tater tots. This guy was just doing it. Potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. He had a baked potato and mashed potatoes. Really? It's kind of weird. It's a lot of potatoes. So it was the Empire in Belfast, which is Northern Ireland. The guy said to me, hey, Eddie, the promoter, you're a bit edgy with your comedy, and we have had peace for a few years now. And this is a very small country, and we don't want, even the smallest little thing can kick it off again. So, can you be careful and not stir it up? So I got on stage and I said something like, where are the Catholics? Where are the Protestants? And I was like, can we put the Catholics on one side and the Protestants the other, like a wedding? And then I made a joke about, some guy heckled me and I said, you don't want to fuck with me. I'm an American and I have a gun. And apparently some guys are in the back were like, he's got a gun? I'll show you a gun. He doesn't have a gun. I've got a gun. And then I remember the promoter got his car broken into that night, and I think I got blamed for it or something. But Belfast was, I felt completely safe there. I felt safe always in London. Every once in a while something. The FA Cup day. The FA Cup day. The FA Cup day. This is the day of all days. This was the most unsafe I've ever felt in my life. London. I lived in Islington, which is North London, near where I believe it's Arsenal, the soccer team, plays. Arsenal had just won the FA Cup in soccer, and they had a parade like we do in America after we win the Super Bowl and stuff. These soccer teams have parades. So I'm going home. I must have been on the road the day before, and I just came home, like I stayed somewhere, took a train home. I'm walking to my flat that was above Highbury Grove, I believe, which is just a park. And I'm cutting through the park, and there's all kinds of people there. And I look down, and some guy's playing with this little daughter, and she's cute, and he's, like a good dad, and it puts a smile on my face because, they look like such a happy family. And the guy looks at me and goes, what the fuck are you looking at, mate? And I go, oh, and his daughter's right there. I go, she's really cute. He goes, that's fucking right she is. Now fucking march on, mate. And I was like, okay. And I just walked away like, I almost just died. So then I started walking up the hill farther. And I'm on the phone now telling a friend of mine the story about the guy that just wanted to kill me for saying that he and his daughter looked like a cute little family. I'm on the phone telling my friend, and this old man walks by me and bumps me in the, shoulders me as he goes by. And he goes like this to me, like, I think there's something wrong with me. He goes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, hey. And I walk by and I hear him go, and I turn around and he's like going like this, like he wants to fight me or something. And I'm like, no thanks. And I just keep walking. So then I keep hearing the, and it's like getting a little bit closer. So I turn around and he's like walking towards me. So I kind of speed up a little bit. And he's an older man. So I'm like, this guy can't like do anything to me. And I'm telling my friend, I'm like, this crazy guy's following me. And I'm like, and I'm going, go away, dude, go away. Like, what are you doing? And he's coming at me. He's like, and so I start kind of jogging. I get up to like a slow jog, and then it's like creeping me out. So I go like full speed, like sprint down this hill to my flat. And I even go like around my flat so he doesn't see where I live. And then I go in like another door that I usually go in. So I go to my room and I have to change and get ready. And I have to go back out to like take a train somewhere to another show that night. I go down an alley and I'm in this tight alley, and there's like three, I guess they call them geezers in England. I think I'm right, geezers, am I right? We have geezers, like an old guy. I don't know. They're old. They're probably like my age now, but I was younger, and I'm looking at them like they're old. They're older than me. They have gray hair. But I have friends that have gray hair that are my age. So I don't know. They're old. They looked worn, weathered, older. So I kind of have to almost touch them to get by them. It's very tight. And one of them looks at me and goes, hey, mate, you know where fucking rah, rah, rah is? And I go, and I don't want to say anything in an American accent just because I can tell it's going to be a problem. So I go, sorry, I don't know. And the guy goes, oh, are you fucking, I mix up my Australian and English all the time when I do my accents, but he goes, are you fucking American? And I go, and I'm like, and one of the guys just hits me like a arm on the shoulder, just fucking hits me like pretty hard. And he calls me a yank or something, or a seppo or something, a septic tank or some kind of derogatory slur for Americans. And I don't give a shit, but I realize I'm about to get mugged. Like, I'm not mugged, but like these guys are so drunk and they're just gonna beat up an American. So I don't know what, whenever I get in a fight, which I haven't been in a fight in years, I mean, that might have been the last one ever. I can't remember. That was like 30 or 25 years. I don't know how many years ago, 20 years ago. Everything is different than what I remember. So I don't know what exactly happened, but I know I fucking knocked one of the guys, just like punched him as hard as I could and knocked him down. And then I ran as fast as I could the other way to get away from them. And they started chasing me. Only, I think, one of them was chasing me. I think the one guy I kind of knocked down was, I landed a good punch. It was a sucker punch. And so he's down. So the other guy, I don't know what the other guy's doing, but the one guy's chasing me. And I remember at the time, I think I was training for the New York City Marathon at the time. And so I was in pretty good shape. And I'm just thinking to myself, I could run forever. I'll let this guy. But he's sprinting towards me. And so I've got to like pick it up. So I start to do that. It's almost like a Tabata where you speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. But I'm speeding up enough that he couldn't get near me. Then I slow down to like make him keep chasing me. And he keeps chasing, and we both are full of adrenaline, but my mind is going like, don't exhaust yourself because this guy will kill you. He's like in a rage. And so I keep running, and it was a hill. It was like not a steep hill, but a little bit of a hill that we ran up like about a full block at fast speed, which is a lot, especially for an old dude. And then the guy got to me, and I still had a lot of energy left, so I took care of that guy too. Boom, boom, boom. Who would have thought? I've lost a lot of fights in my day. A lot. I used to get in a lot of fights growing up. Tons and tons. And I got the shit kicked out of me. Not this day. Not this day. Eddie was the winner. And I took out 2 of them. And then I started pointing at the third guy who's coming up the hill. I'm like, you want some of this? You want some of this? And they must have thought I was like a psycho on cocaine or something but they picked the wrong guy to pick on. That's right. And if they're listening to this, you know where I am. They're probably like 95 years old in a nursing home now. Like, remember that time that we asked a guy for directions and he beat us up? No, they were roughing me up. I had to save myself. They were gonna kill me. I don't know. It could have happened. It could have been like the Pittsburgh Steeler, the 5th string quarterback that got jumped. So that's that story. And I told you that story because I was trying to get to the Pittsburgh Steeler game that they played in Ireland this week that was on YouTube. I'm losing my mind, people. I'm so over TVs, remote controls, passwords, subscriptions. It's fucking insane. It is insane what is happening. First of all, the remote control in a regular remote control to a TV in a hotel room. How slow is your internet service that when you change the channel, it's like change, you wait like 3 seconds for it to, is it like dial up on a computer? And then all of a sudden, oh, that's where we're watching. And they have 7,000 channels, and like maybe 5 things are watchable. Everything else is some weird thing that should be on the internet that you can only find if you have that web address. But I used to have, I remember the first remote controls because I'm old enough that we had a TV with a dial where you just went to the 3 channels, 2, 4, and 11. Dan. I don't think there were any others. Okay, I remember that TV. Then we got a TV with a box that had a cord running from the box to the TV. And it had like 1 through 25. And you hit the button. And as soon as you hit the button, that channel came up. Boom, right on the TV. And that was 40 years ago. Maybe more, 45 years ago. And it was better than it is now. 45 years ago, it was better. It was easier and more accessible. That's how far we've come in 45 years. That I used to have a box that I just pressed the button and the channel came right up. Now I remember 3 and 21 were HBO and Cinemax. And they had a lock on them that you couldn't press them, that my dad could lock it and you couldn't press those channels. And I figured out how to unlock it so that when my dad wasn't home, I could go watch the Emmanuel series on Cinemax. Remember Skinemax? Where you would watch Emmanuel Goes to Bangkok or Emmanuel Bangs Cock. I don't know what she did, but Emmanuel was good. Emmanuel was like the soft porn. And then one of my favorite sort of semi-dirty movies. Do you remember Hard Bodies? Does anybody remember Hard Bodies? This body sucks the big one. Where's Hunter? I just remember that line from the movie. That was like the first, that was like the introduction to the world of like dirty movies. Then in 8th grade, I got a porn movie from my friend Brad Danoff, and it was called San Francisco 2000, and I watched it about 7,000 times, and then I gave it to someone in school, and it went around our entire school. I think everybody had that tape. And then I had it back, they gave it back to me, and one day we were watching it. We're sitting there watching it, and there were like 5 or 6 guys over at my house watching porn. And I sent John Epstein out to like stand above the driveway, and if he saw my dad's car come in, he was supposed to come running in and warn us so that we could get the tape out and hide it. So We're all watching it. We're not like having a circle jerk or anything. We're just watching it, probably hiding our boners. And all of a sudden, John Epstein goes screaming behind me. He's like, Eddie, your dad's here. Your dad's here. And as he was yelling it, my dad was standing behind him. Like, did you fall asleep? Like and then you saw my dad park the car and walk up the steps? Like what? Because my dad was right behind him. And as he yelled that to me, I was closest to the TV. I got up, I hit eject on the VCR, grabbed the tape, and my dad goes, what is that? And I went running out of the house with it. And I ran down the street, and I went somewhere in the woods, and I found a hiding place for it. And I put it in the woods, and then I was afraid to come home for a long time. I think it was like hours and hours and hours. I don't know what I did. I just like wandered the streets. I don't think I had shoes on. But I finally came home, and my dad was like, what was that? And I go, we had recorded the movie Hard Bodies off of the internet. Off the TV, off Cinemax. And my dad goes, what movie is that? And I'm like, it's a bad R movie. And my dad goes, where is it now? And I go, I threw it in the sewer. He goes, good, that's where it belongs. And I was like, okay. And that's when I gave it to all the kids, and it went around the high school, actually, or grade school. That's when it went around. So thank you, Brad Danoff, for introducing us all to pornography. Yeah, so I'm over these remote controls, especially the Apple TV ones. How archaic are those? It's when you have to type something in, you're like A, B, and then you're like, no, little b, and then, oh, no, I got to go back out, exclamation point, over, C, over, G, over, back, B. There are things that I don't understand. We can, we're trying to get to Mars right now, but we can't get a remote control and people go, just talk into it. Just talk into it. Sometimes I don't want to talk into it. Sometimes it doesn't understand me. Sometimes it's loud, or like late at night and the kids are sleeping. I don't want to talk in, so I got to type, din, 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 din. And then the passwords. Holy shit. The passwords are, put in your password. Okay. That's not your password. Okay, it's not my password. I know it was my password. I wrote it down. It's right here. No, it's not your password. Your password's changed. So reset password. Okay, now you got to go to your email. Okay, then I can't get it to my email because I don't know my password to my email. So I got to reset my email. Where does that password? We're going to send you a code. They send you a code. Hey, you only have 30 seconds to put this in. Okay, now I got to go take a screenshot of the code. Oh, shit. Now I changed. Now it's gone. Now, caption. Now I got to find out how many of these are bicycles. Well, that could be a unicycle. It's only one wheel, but I don't know if it's a bicycle or a unicycle. Okay, put in the captcha. Is that an F or is that a T? I don't know. I can't tell if that's a T or an F. What if I get it wrong? Do I have to get all the letters right? I feel like I spend more time doing this shit than doing what I want to do. It's like everything is always trying to get into things, figure out passwords, resetting passwords, getting codes on my phone or my email and back in. I want to go back to that box. Did I just go chunk? And there's a manual in Bangkok. That's all I want. I don't need, I'm so tired. I really think someday, after the world goes away, civilization's gone, and then we have a reset, and a new civilization starts, and archaeologists start looking back at the earth. I think one of the things that they're going to look at and just be like, you guys, you don't realize you fucked up. They're going to be like, do you realize that these guys had the greatest invention ever, and they resigned it to like old people, babies, and mentally challenged people? And that's Velcro tennis shoes. Why are we tying shoes? Why am I doing that? Bunny ears or the other way when I can just go with Velcro straps? I mean, the easiest thing in the world, and they hold tight and they're secure. But we only let people, if you see someone walking down the street with Velcro shoes and they're an adult, they're going to be like, like something's, they can't tie shoes. So I don't know. I just think it's one of those things that when we discovered it, somebody was like, nah, that's too easy. We can't do that. Yeah, we can. Let's get to the Velcro shoes. It's time, people. Start wearing Velcro shoes. Really. Yeah, almost done with this podcast. I don't want to be done, but I got to go to my show. I have to get down there because I never know when I'm going on. I said I was going to talk about the Saudi Comedy Festival. I wanted to talk about inflation. I'm tired of hearing that the economy is good. If you think it's good, it's because you have investments and you're invested in the Dow Jones. For everybody else, it fucking sucks. The economy sucks because wages have not gone up. Do you understand that? Wages do not go up, but prices have gone up. A drink here in Las Vegas is like $20. That's what somebody makes in an hour. They can work an hour to get one drink. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense at all. So you have to understand that their wages aren't going up. You are making more money because you have stock in NVIDIA, okay? So you are making lots more money because there's like 10 stocks that are crushing it. But the Dow Jones is not a good indicator. The economy sucks. And I don't know how the media, I think they don't want us to know it, but we know it. I know that comedy around the country is down everywhere. And I'm not supposed to talk about it, but it is. Tickets aren't selling. Big name comedians, you're not selling. Why do you think they're all headed to Saudi Arabia? Because they're paying. Saudi Arabia is paying. Saudi Arabia got ripped off too. Holy shit. Are these numbers real that I keep hearing? First I heard everybody got favored nations, like 1.65 million. Then I heard a lot of people got a lot less. And then some guys got like Chappelle got they told me Chappelle got $1 billion. $1 billion to come to Saudi Arabia. I'm joking, but I want that rumor to start. Dave Chappelle is getting $1 billion and 4 slaves. They're giving him 4 slaves in Saudi Arabia. He gets to keep 4. No, it's not true. I am, again, going to take a moderate position on Saudi Arabia. Here's what I feel. The Saudi Arabian regime, hopefully you never hear this, and don't murder me because I'm being critical of you, but it's not the best place. Let's just say they've murdered journalists. They blew up this thing called the World Trade Center, which I don't know if you remember that. Those guys from Saudi Arabia, those Al-Qaeda terrorists. I would have trouble turning down that kind of money. I would have a real hard time. If I was rich, I would not have a hard time. I heard Tim Dillon criticized them, made fun of them on his podcast. If you ever watch that rant, it's pretty funny where he talks about how he looked the other way and he doesn't give a shit what they do because he's making all that money. And then apparently they heard it and fired him and he got the deposit, which sometimes it's 50%. If he got 50%, I would love that job. It's my favorite gig in the world is when somebody puts a down payment and then they cancel the gig and I get to keep the down payment. Love it. It's happened to me only a handful of times in my entire career. It is my favorite gig in the world to not go and get half the price. Usually we get paid. People want to know this, and I'll tell you. We make no money in New York and LA. They pay us very, very small amounts of money because there is a plethora of us. They can always find comics. It's very easy to put on established, very funny comics that even draw at their clubs. So the demand is not that high, so the pay is not that high. It's usually you get paid for how shitty the gig is. Corporate gigs suck, and that's why they pay the most. And they suck because all these parameters are put on you of what you can say and what you can't say. And, they'll be like, you can say this, you can say that. It's usually like, we want it TV clean, no cursing, no drug talk, no sex talk. And for a comedian like me, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to say. But no, I can pull it off. I've got a lot of family stuff, and I do a lot of corporates. However, if if you want to hire me for a corporate, just send me a message. I'll put you in touch with my people. I do like doing them, actually, especially when you give me info on your company and I get to make fun of them. But occasionally they're pretty rough. One time I did one for Budweiser in Australia. They were launching Budweiser and they wanted to talk to me before the show. And the guy's like, hey mate, can we talk to you about your act? And I was like, yeah. He's like, can you, keep it a little, And I was like, okay, what can I say and what can I say? He goes, don't say cunt, mate. Just whatever you do, don't say cunt. And I was like, that wasn't even in the realm of possibilities of what I was going to say. And he goes, okay, okay, that's about it. Just don't say cunt. I'm like, okay, no problem. Wasn't going to say it anyway. I was like, that was like the last thing I ever would have said. So then I said to him, oh, by the way, I said, I have a joke about midgets. Can I do a joke about midgets? And he goes, oh, fuck yeah, mate. Mate, fucking hell. Fucking pay him out. Do it. And then he goes, you got any poofter jokes? You got any poofter jokes? And poofter in Australian, if you don't know, is a gay person. And it's kind of a slur. It's like saying faggot. And this guy's like, you got any poofter jokes? And I'm like, no. And he goes, because we fucking got one, mate. We got one. He goes, pay him out. Fucking go at him. Go at him. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, so corporates are different country to country. I saw in Deadline, I should post it. I'll probably post it on my Instagram. The contract that was given to these comedians going to Saudi Arabia. And it's kind of what we had when we were in UAE, when I did UAE and Bahrain and Abu Dhabi. And it's like, you can't make fun of the government. You can't make fun of the royal family. You can't make fun of their society. You can't make fun of Islam. It's pretty strict, some pretty strict rules. And so good luck to the comics that are going. Get your money. You're getting paid a shitload of money because it's going to be a shitty gig. And, there's a part of me that's like, hey, you guys are all hypocritical because you take these stances on society and stuff, but, you're comedians, so you're full of shit already. We all know that. We're comedians. We are full of shit. But there's also part of me that is like, hey, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe Saudi Arabia is trying to change their ways and these comedians can be, leading them into that. Because I do believe that, comedy is a good way to satirize and, bring people into the future. So that didn't make sense. That sounds so stupid. What I'm trying to say is maybe they start with some comedy. Next, they get some rock and roll. And, in a few years, we have a porn festival in Saudi Arabia. Who's up for it? I think that, maybe it's a way to getting the people of Saudi Arabia to more freedom. So could be a good thing. These guys could be paving the way for a better society in Saudi Arabia. But I don't think that's true. I think they're all just going to buy Lamborghinis. And I wish I could have Pete Lee on here today to tell you about his experience there. But that's it. I got to go down and do my show. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can listen to it, watch it on there. Subscribe, comment, give it, if you're listening to it on iTunes or Spotify or any of the other podcast channels, rate, review, comment, give it stars, and go to the Patreon, patreon.com/Eddie Ifft. And I'm working really hard to give you one of these every single week. All right, so have a great week, everybody. See you next week.